Hello, everybody. This is Mahadeva, the Thunder Wizard, and I am responding to questions that people have left from yesterday's video live channeling a reptilian, where we heard from Ophiuchus, the Thunder Lizard. There are questions for all three of us, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and answer for both of them. Because I asked each of them ahead of time and they gave me an understanding. It's just too much work for me to, channel two different beings and be myself. It's too much energy. So I am going to give you my answer, and I'm going to tell you also what they hinted to me that they would have answered to your questions, those who asked for whomever that you were trying to talk to. So this first question is for me. This is in response to live channeling a reptilian. Caleb Spears asks the question, "We are free, our cages are self-made and have open doors. Am I understanding this correctly?" Well, that's what I heard him say. And he was very clear that everything you create is your creation. Your life is your creation. You chose to come here. You chose to incarnate. You continuously choose on either a conscious or an unconscious level to manifest your life. Your life is a manifestation of your inner reality. So my feeling from your question, Caleb, is that you're new to the channel, relatively new, and that you have not yet read any of my books, correct? So what I'd like for you to do is to go onto my channel and go into the playlists and look for the videos, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. Okay, you can hear me read that book, or if you want to get it yourself, you can get that same book at Amazon under the same name, Kindle or paperback, whatever. So again, because I get the feeling that you haven't looked at some of that information. So that will answer a lot of these questions that you're asking. Having said that, I will go ahead and answer them. He was very clear that the way he sees it, Ophiuchus, the way he sees it is that we humans have total reign of the universe. We are, in fact, deities incarnated. And the illusion that we have that we're trapped in three dimensions and that we have this karma hanging over us, he firmly believes that those are illusions that we choose out of our own narcissism and fear to cling to, that we are more comfortable being slaves, being told what to do, where to go, how to function. We complain about it a lot, but it's our choice and we could change it at any point in time. So yes, that is what he said, and I myself am learning to implement that as well. Now your next question is, are we able to create whatever we choose? For that, again, go watch. Also, go look at the videos on my channel, Manifestation Mastery Course. I don't even know how many videos. So again, I know you're probably new to the channel. I personally, it's hurtful to me because I've made so many videos answering these very same questions, and you can answer these questions for yourself if you just go into the channel and look for them. The best place to look for them is in the playlists, or if you know how to search within a channel, you can search specific keywords, manifestation, and you'll see however many hundreds or thousands of hours of videos I've made about how to manifest everything. There is the Manifestation Mastery Course, which if you go to thunderwizard.com, you subscribe there, you get the basic plus the advanced videos of that, and there's also just no shortage of Manifestation Mastery Course videos on this channel. So look for them and you'll find them. So I'm saying that because I get the feeling you don't have the basics of what I've already taught. So are we able to create whatever we choose? And then you ask a very superficial question like, can I end a war? Can I lower gas prices? So you're looking at it like, a little kid would look at it. We're talking about manifestation. Manifestation isn't that you, like The Secret, where you simply manifest whatever pops into your head. It's not like that. You have three minds. You have an unconscious mind, a subconscious, and a conscious mind. You can't just simply throw things into your conscious mind and they'll manifest. That's not how it works. If that is the case, that you throw a thought into your conscious mind, I want an ice cream cone, and an ice cream cone appears. What that means is that you are in complete alignment with your unconscious issues. So in other words, your unconscious would have to be completely free of any issues, and it's called unconscious for a reason. It means you're not aware of it. So what's the likelihood of that? Most humans, myself included, have huge amounts of things in their unconscious. So you can throw a command in your conscious mind whenever you want, but if it's not in agreement with your unconscious mind will veto it. And then the next thing you have to determine, can we create whatever we choose? Yes. But the universe will magically manifest those things that are already in alignment with your soul. If it's not in alignment with your soul, and you say, I want to manifest, a pound of heroin, and that's not what your soul wants, it's not going to happen. So again, these are basic things I've been talking about for a while. You create whatever you are most associated with on your unconscious level. So the other thing is, again, your soul desire. As I've said many times, I'm happy to repeat myself, is that you came here to fulfill the desires of your soul. The desires of your soul are not going to be the same as your unconscious karmic issues. You've been programmed by past lives, by your parents, by your society, to tell yourself you're supposed to want certain things. Lots of money, a big house, stuff like that. And if you tell yourself that's what I want and your soul doesn't want that, the universe knows. And the universe says, I'm not going to give you that. Or the universe is going to say, okay. Or if Ophiuchus says, sure, here, choke on it. And he'll give you as much as you think you want until, like many people who've won the lottery, 5 years later, they're broke again after spending, $10 or $20 million. So yeah, you can manifest whatever you want, but there are some guidelines that has to be associated with what your unconscious mind wants, or that you want on an unconscious level. And the other thing is it has to be associated with your soul. So your soul has to want it. And many people don't know what their soul wants. They're told through misinformation, through fear-based victim mentality. They think, I need to have a lot of money. So they say, I want to win the lottery. And the universe is like, no, you came here to be a musician. You came here to be an athlete. You came here to be, whatever it is, a spiritual teacher, a banker, whatever it is that your soul decided you wanted to come here to do, which will bring you and all consciousness the highest level of empowerment because of your life. Then the universe gives you everything that you need to achieve that desire. But, just throwing around basic things, that's not how it works. It's not like Simon Says. So you ask, can I end a war? That has to do with other people's free will. What you can do is you can end the war within yourself. You have conflicts within yourself. You can end those through work, through doing the spiritual work, through doing the things I teach, the energy practices, the mantra, things like that. And if you end the war within yourself, what will happen is you will not end up in a war zone. So other people are going to create wars, and that's their free will, that's their manifestation, that's their karma, whatever. And if you work on yourself, then, and what you want is to be free of that, you want to live a peaceful life, then you will manifest a peaceful life. Just to give you an example, I'm now in Australia for, excuse me, I'm in Florida now for, what has it been, 3 months now? Just to almost, yeah, just about 3 months. So I was in Australia for 2.5 years, living absolutely, totally my fantasy. There was no COVID where I lived for 2.5 years. And the way that happened is that I was apparently doing what I said. I was following my soul. I was connected to my soul. And I didn't know that COVID was coming. I didn't have a psychic prediction that was coming. But about 6 months before, actually about a year or so before COVID arrived, I felt the need to get out of the United States. So I took a trip to Australia and I found my paradise. I came back. I spent 6 months, getting rid of all my stuff, and I got on a plane with my surfboard and my luggage, and I ended up in Australia. And after I was there for a couple of months, the pandemic hit and everything locked down, and Australia locked itself down, and the state I was in locked itself down from the rest of the world. And so I got to live in paradise with no tourists and no COVID, because I didn't have to worry about it. And it wasn't until just before they opened their borders, Queensland opened their borders, that I then started to become aware of what was really going on in the world. And I ended up leaving because I knew all of that chaos that had been going on in the United States was going to come to Australia. So the point is that I wanted to live free of all that nonsense. I didn't have to consciously do it. My soul made sure that I was where I was supposed to be, where I would be free of all of that. So can you end a war? You can end a war within yourself. And if other people, because of their free will, they decide to create wars, if you have peace within yourself and you are just focused on your business and not anybody else's business, then without even trying, you will end up manifesting reality where there isn't any war. That doesn't mean there won't be war in the world. It just means it won't be around you. Can you lower gas prices? My first question for you is, really, if you could do anything you want, you would lower gas prices? You realize that money is a symbol, right? That there's no such thing as money. Gas is $3 a gallon or 50 cents a gallon. It's just arbitrary. It means nothing. So the assumption behind your question is that you need a lot of gas to drive your car and you need a lot of money. Well, you'll either manifest more money to pay for your gas if that's what you need to drive your car to go do the things that your soul needs to do, or you will end up deciding that you want to ride a motorcycle instead. That's lowering gas prices. Is gas prices about how much it is per gallon, or how much does it cost for you to drive from one place to another? So again, you're thinking about it kind of like a child, and I want you to think about it more holographically. Can you lower gas prices? I mean, that's other people's stuff. Other people make decisions about how much gas costs. You will manifest what you need. If what you need is more money, you will manifest it. If what is best for you is to end up with a smaller car or an electric car or something like that, you'll manifest that. So this seems pretty obvious, right? You get it? I've got this look on my face because these questions are kind of obvious, and I think you know the answer to them. But the main thing you're trying to ask here is, as you say, is this ability to create and be free more personal, or is it more affecting yourself? It's all about you. What other people do is none of your business. What you do is your business, and you will manifest the kind of people that reflect what's going on inside of you. You want to change the kind of people in your world? Change yourself. All right. So that was to me. And again, my apologies if I'm offensive. I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to be as direct and answer the questions according to my personality. So I hope that's helpful. Zerlath asks Ophiuchos a question. He says, I'm striving and believe I am close to balance between my naga self and my higher self. Okay, I can hear him laughing now. He's laughing uproariously at you. And you say, what can I expect in the next life? Oh my God, he's rolling on the floor laughing at you so hard. What can I expect in the next life if I hold this path in the end? All right, so um, you're kind of misinterpreting what he was talking about. So for those that may not know, what we are learning, myself included, is that human beings, our physical flesh, including our brains, our nervous system, our instincts, all the things associated with the physical thing of the body, is actually a reptilian creation. That reptilians created all life on this planet, the flesh, including humans, and that at our base animal self, we are reptilians. We operate from fear, greed, hunger, lust, competition, survival of the fittest. These are all reptilian ways of viewing reality and interacting with reality. So that is our base human animal instinct. So what he also said was that our human part is associated with the higher levels of the mind, which do represent the higher levels of the brain. And that was the celestial deities actually had a hand in creating an evolved animal. So we're still in that evolutionary stage. As I understand it, from a scientific perspective, human beings are only, is it 1%? It's 1 or 2%. There's only 1 or 2% difference between human beings and chimpanzees on a DNA level. So just to give you an example, that's how close we are to just being mindless monkeys. Try and get a chimpanzee to play chess or play the violin. It's not going to happen. They don't have the capacity to do it, and that's only a 1% difference. So this has only come about in the past, between us and chimpanzees, a couple million years, between us and humans that walked around with no clothes and banging stone tools together, a couple 100,000 years. So we're still in the process of evolution. So the idea is that we are a hybrid. We are a hybrid. Every single human on the planet is a hybrid. We have the basic physical structure that was created by the reptilians, and then we have this advanced brain which holds our mind. So our mind is not physical. This was created by the celestials and has a strong association with the moon. Without the moon, we wouldn't be able to function, because the moon is actually a projector of higher, I'm not even going to say mental, but spiritual reflection, a meditative mind. When you're in a state of meditation, you're not attached. You are connected to life force energy. You feel an expansive connection. You feel a nurturing towards all life, and you feel nurtured by life. That is a spiritual power. That is a spiritual technology that is not associated with the physical body. But we are human beings, and all human beings have access to that. There's a merging of emotions. There are spiritual emotions, which have to do with compassion, empathy, love, and then there's reptilian emotions, which they perceive love as possessiveness, jealousy, lust, sex. It's not that they don't have a love or friendship for each other, but it's on an even lower level. We have all of these traits within us. So we are a hybrid. There is no such thing as the hybrid reptilians. All human beings are hybrid reptilians and celestials. We're hybrid physical and spiritual. All right, so that's what this question is referring to. And you say, if you say, I am striving and believe I am close to balance between my naga self and my higher self. And that is an illusion. The balance you're talking about has within it an assumption of morality. Like I've got a good balance. I'm not bad and I'm not perfect yet. That's a judgment. There's all that has a judgment within it. So there isn't, you can go very deep into your reptilian essence and still be a spiritual being, because there's nothing inherently right or wrong with anything. The only thing that matters is your actions, do they have destructive or beneficial effect on either physical life or consciousness? So you can go deep into your lust, you can go deep into your physical desire to eat food and to own stuff and all the things that we enjoy on a physical level. I'm a very physical person. I enjoy my physical body and all of the desires and instincts associated with it, but I'm led by my soul and I seek to be led by my higher self. So what you're talking about is sort of like you're half and half, and you're this idea of like there's this balance, and once you reach that balance, you're okay. And if you're not in that balance, so I would say stop striving. You're striving to achieve balance. You don't need to strive so hard. You don't need to achieve balance either. You just need to, like all of us, operate from your soul as much as you possibly can. That's it. Now, your next question, I hear Ophiuchus laughing uncontrollably. You say, what can I expect in the next life? Why are you thinking about the next life? This whole question has fear associated with it. The fear of you don't know where you're going to go. So you're going to try and balance this thing perfectly, which again is coming out of fear and self-criticism and a perfectionism, which is unnecessary. And then you want to know, what you're going to get for that. And what are you going to get tomorrow? If you live to your highest self, spiritually, mentally, physically today, what are you going to get tomorrow? You're going to get a better opportunity to live in this world, and get more fulfillment and more happiness and be more helpful to other people. That's what you can expect in the next life. Again, you guys are looking at these things from a passive, you see yourself as these little beings in this big universe. And remember, you created everything. So what can you expect in the next life? Whatever it is that your soul wants to create for yourself. The challenge is to figure out the difference between what you think you want and what you truly want. And when you're in a truly spiritual state, you're not thinking about what you need to get for yourself later. Our ancestors, they didn't have freezers, they didn't have supermarkets. They had to get their food for the day. And when they were sitting there eating, their last meal of the day, and they were full and they were content, they went to sleep. They didn't start planning, tomorrow. They didn't start thinking about what they had to do tomorrow. They got up the next day and they went, I'm hungry. Let's go find some food. Let's go. This is what life is. You wake up the next day and you go looking for what you need. In the next life, you're going to do the same thing. There's nothing you're going to be able to do now. You can't take it with you. So you can become a billionaire in this life and you're not going to be able to take any of that money with you into the next life. But if you live this moment to its fullest, you will fulfill your soul, you will have more energy, and then you'll be able to do the next day the same thing. And then at some point, the next day you'll be out of your body, and then you'll be wherever you are, and you'll have a new adventure. And as long as you are happy within yourself, you won't care. So the idea is to not care now. Look at your question again. Your question is coming from a place of lack, from a place of fear, from a place of what you don't have. And when you have everything, then you have eternity. And, this is, the symbol of the meditator deep in samadhi meditation. He doesn't need anything. That's where you want to go. Okay, so I'm not. Ophiuchus was laughing, quite heartily at you, and I'm not going to subject you to that because I don't want to bounce back and forth, like I said. So No Name asks a question. Why don't you have a name, No Name? That's my question for you. What's wrong with having a name? You say, question. I'm assuming this is to Ophiuchus. You say, question. If humans were to reject God and reject overlords, as I understood to be said in the reptilian channeling. All right, so let's remind ourselves what that was. He was talking about, I personally don't believe in the Garden of Eden, so what he meant by it, I don't know whether he meant it literally or figuratively. Ophiuchus was saying, who do you think was there in the Garden of Eden when he gave them, and he insists it was a pomegranate, not an apple. When I handed them the fruit, he says, the pomegranate, and offered them to have awareness of their divine essence, they could have said no. They chose to do the understandable thing, which was to see what their true nature was. So in their mind, they had two choices. They could either stay trapped in the innocence of the Garden of Eden and stay true to Jehovah, who was basically their keeper in a zoo, or you could listen to the serpent who was giving you the fruit, in which if you ate, you would know, basically, as he said, you would be like God, which would mean going to your true essence, which is a divine entity, even more powerful than Jehovah. And what Ophiuchus said is, you didn't realize there was a third choice. And the third choice was to say no to both. You say no to the serpent, and you say no to Jehovah, because you don't need either of them. You don't need anybody to enlighten you. You are already a completely omnipotent, omniscient, multidimensional being of light who has come into the body. So that's what he was saying. So his question here, No Name, is about that. If humans were to reject God and reject overlords, as I understand to be said in the reptilian channeling, left to our own devices, would humans, our soul, be vulnerable? So much weakness in all of these questions. So again, you didn't really hear what he said. And this is important because people really, their filters are so strong. They project and impose their filters even when somebody says something different. So imagine you're at a restaurant and the waiter comes up to you and says, hey, the owner of the restaurant has said that you have carte blanche. You can eat anything you want, as much as you want off the menu at no charge. You're his guest. That would be like listening and nodding your head and then getting the menu and saying, okay, so how much does this cost? And the waiter would be like, I just told you, it doesn't cost you anything. You can get anything you want. I can get anything I want. Haha. So, is it cost extra if I get a second helping of the... I did this once when I went on a plane. The first time I got on first class, which was when I was an actor and I got a part. And of course, actors, they get first class. So I got on a plane and it was first class, and the woman came, the stewardess came by the flight attendant, the flight attendant came by with the menu, and I said, how much is that? She said, you're in first class, it's free. I should have known that. So, No Name, you're not listening. Left to your own devices, would humans be vulnerable? Is an infinite, omniscient, omnipowerful, multidimensional being of light, are they vulnerable? I mean, you obviously, you hear this. I'm not making this up. It's in your question. You believe that you need these overlords and a God to protect you. From what? You feel afraid. You are, and Ophiuchus is rolling on the floor, laughing his head off, because you're exactly what he was talking about. Humans just need to be controlled. They need to be enslaved. They're not comfortable being responsible for themselves. And so, again, look at your question again with the assumption that he's giving, which is you are God. You are more powerful than Jehovah. Why would you need to protect yourself from anything? You're the creator of the universe. What do you need protection from? Left to our own devices, would humans, our soul, be vulnerable? If you were to reject God and the overlords, what realm would we be operating in if denied the current realities? Again, listen to your. I can't hear over Ophiuchus laughing so loud. Listen to the language. Being denied the current realities. You see your existence as somebody giving you something or taking something away from you. You see yourself as a small being. You see yourself like a child who needs to be given things, to be disciplined, to be protected. Do you want to still be a little kid? Or do you want to be not just an adult? Do you want to be a fully empowered, complete divine entity? It's completely up to you. So if you were to reject God and the overlords and everything else, then you would then have only, the option of infinity, of being your true self, which is omnipotent, omniscient. Why? And then you say, how would that work? Would that leave us vulnerable? Would that leave us vulnerable without protection? So you've mentioned vulnerability and or protection 3 or 4 times. What are you so afraid of? You have bought into the idea that you are controlled, that there are beings out there that can harm you, that there is, I understand this sounds like neo-Gnosticism, where when you die, you end up in this empty, cold universe, and unless there's some matrix to take care of you, then you're going to just float in space and, starve to death or something. And I recommend that you completely throw away all of your assumptions and become aware of all of the fear that's driving you. The fear, the belief that you're limited, that you're tiny, that God is big, that the overlords are big, that you are bigger than the universe. You are bigger than God. You are bigger than the overlords. But until you're ready to own up to that, then you're going to manifest a scenario where you have to be protected. You have to live in some kind of a matrix in order to, So that's what he's laughing about. And he says, until you let go of this, you're my agent. He's gonna continue to keep telling you how weak, and until you get so tired of being weak and controlled that you throw off all shackles and you go back to being the creator of the universe. A lot of people ask, how can we all be the creator of the universe? Great question. We live in a hologram, not in a 2-dimensional world. When we've manifested a 3-dimensional limited world for our human selves, but from our souls, we don't live in a 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional world. Everybody can be infinite and everybody can be God. Okay, so that's my question for No Name. Here's a question for Mahadeva. I'm going to do my best to answer it for him. I did look at it and meditate and ask for him to guide me through the question, so let's see here. Question for Mahadeva, Ascended Master. I remember this question now. I'm currently going through some very challenging times as of late. Just before the holidays, I lost my best friend who contributed more to my life and being than anyone I had ever met to this point in my life. My sympathy for you. There's nothing worse than losing somebody that's close to you. It's the worst experience I've ever had in my life was, losing my fiance, who was my soulmate. It was the worst experience of my life. So you've just gone through that. So you're in that, and I'm sorry. It will take time, and it will slowly get better. But that hole will never really go away. That's true. In addition to being a great, loving, and trusting human being, he channeled entities frequently, effortlessly, that would come to speak with me on a regular basis. I also became friends with these entities and had very interesting intellectual conversations, some along the lines of your teaching. The question I have for Mahadeva, the Ascended Master: why am I having such a difficult time coping with my friend's death? So, from my perspective, I was going to start launching into things, but I feel his presence calming me down. The difficulty you're having, he says, is that you are experiencing a lack of connection with him. And that is just the illusion of three-dimensional life. So the truth is that you are in connection with him, but he's in he's in the, whatever we would call it, the 4D or the 5D. He's not in the 3D. So he is fully connected to you. You have the experience that you're not connected to him, and that is your experience. That experience is very real. I know, because I live it every day. But it is an illusion. It's not reality. The truth is that the part of you that's here, that's conscious, is just a small fragment of a projection of your true self. And the 99.999% of you is still back there with him. So in actuality, what has happened is that you were there to meet him. And I really feel that in my body as I say that. So when he left, you were the one waiting for him. In his experience, he's now more connected to you than ever. So you are still connected to him. Your human self, your human brain doesn't get that. But trust me, when you go to sleep at night, your soul leaves your body, you're 100% back with him, and you come back to this video game, and you again re-experience the illusion that you're separated. So I wish I could make that go away. I can't, because I also live that on a daily basis. And I have learned that if you continue to keep the connection going with him, light a candle for him, talk to him, I'm sure you're doing that already. I'll share with you something that happened which was very interesting for me. When my fiance passed away, a lot of things happened. I didn't feel a connection to her at all, but a lot of things happened. One was I had gone to my group. I have a group that I get together with, and I was sharing in my group how what really bothered me the most was that I didn't know if she could feel me. I didn't know if what I was saying to her and the messages I was giving to her was getting to her. I was worried that she was all alone, and what was most fulfilling for me in my relationship with her was the look on her face when she would be happy because of something that I did or said, or she would, I wouldn't have seen her for a day or two or something, and when I'd see her, she'd look at me and her whole face would light up, and she'd say, "It's you, it's really you," and she meant it. And so that gave me such pleasure to see that I was, just me being myself made her happy. That was the most important thing in my life, was honestly feeling her happiness and having something to do with that. And so not being able to experience that was the worst part of it for me. So I was talking with my group and saying that that I wish I just knew that if I just knew that she was getting my messages. And I came home to my apartment, and my television, if I'm remembering this correctly, my television was off. And my television said these words. I kid you not. My television said, "Talkback is on." It's sort of like a computer voice. I'm like, what the crap is that? And then it said it again. "Talkback is on." And I was like, what is that? So I turned the TV on and I went into whatever the settings are, and I found this thing called Talkback. And I clicked on it and it said, "Talkback is on." And it was something that you had to open up like 3 or 4 folders to get to click on to make it say that. And here I was walking in the door and the TV was not on, and it was telling me, "Talkback is on." And the reason why that was significant, because it means that it wasn't just the TV, malfunctioning, because it never happened before or since. It meant that her spirit was there going into the electronics and stimulating that little voice, because I couldn't hear her. I couldn't hear her spirit telling me, "I'm here. I hear everything you're saying to me." I had to get it through the TV. So you have to understand that you're in a completely different place. I mean, and the reason why I'm telling you is because I got the feeling that I should be the one to tell you, because we share that experience of, missing somebody that's, very important to us, and we can't feel them. That's the worst thing. When they leave their body, you can feel it. You can feel in the world that they're gone. And I can remember, looking out at the sunset and feeling like, how is the universe still functioning? She's not here. She was such an integral part of the universe. How can the universe function with her not in it? With her not in this 3-dimensional world, how can the sun keep going, and how can the sky keep being blue? How come the waves are still coming in off the ocean? I just didn't. I felt so horrible. But that's because your friend is not in 3-dimensional reality. He's greater than that. But he can go in there and do little things to get your attention and send little messages and things like that to let you know. Like there was a few other things that were just inexplicable that seemed pretty clear that she was letting me know. But again, if you try and communicate with a being that's in 2 dimensions and you're in 3, you'll be able to see them. They're like a flat line. They can't see up, down. They can only see straight ahead or what's right behind them. They have 2 dimensions, and you're able to see them. They can't see you because, they can't see in 3 dimensions. You can stick, something in front of them, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, something pops up in front of them. They don't know what it is. They have no idea that it's you. We can't hear them. They can't, unless we're in a really deep spiritual state. We can't hear them. We can't see them. But they can see us. They can hear us. They can feel us. And they interact with us in, real deep ways. But again, our emotions are so intense that we sometimes can't hear them because of how loud our emotions are. So you're having a real hard time because, I don't think, I remember having the feeling that, when she passed, it was like, we're not built to live through death, the death of someone we love. And I remember thinking, I wish that they had created that chip in the human brain to be able to comprehend that. I mean, even chimpanzees, Chimpanzees, probably all kinds of other animals, but chimpanzees, if a partner dies, so oftentimes the chimpanzee will just, after a while give up and just lie down and die because they can't tolerate it. They don't get it. So your human self doesn't get it. It's just that simple. Why is it so hard? Because it is. Why do you have such difficulty with meditating and communicating with these entities yourself? Because, let me see, am I getting a clear answer on that? The message I'm getting is that it's time for you to stop depending on him, your friend, to connect you with spiritual guidance. So one of the reasons he left was that it's time for you to move on, and as long as he was here, you would depend on him. Now it's time for you. It doesn't mean that you do it in the same way or channel the same entities, but it's time for you to, from within yourself, connect to whatever spiritual resources there are to give you that same knowledge and awareness. It's time to grow beyond that relationship a little bit. You'll see him again. But now you again, this life is we live in a laboratory, it is a school, we are here to learn and grow. And so you've got to take the training wheels off. All right, let's see what else. I don't see any other questions for any of us. Nope, that's it. Okay, so there's today's daily video installment. All right, so I wish you guys all the best. Again, if you want to have access to the most powerful spiritual, energetic, unified energy practice in the world, based on my experience, where you have access to chi power through qigong, kundalini through kundalini yoga, and the lightning power that surrounds the soul. You want all three of those energies, to my knowledge, that's never been taught before in a unified way. You go to thunderwizard.com, sign up for the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And if you want the highest level of energy, you can go to maoshan.thunderwizard.com. And the combination of this and this is, in my experience, the most advanced energy practice in the world. Check out everything I have, all my books and everything else, all of my services at courses.thunderwizard.com. And again, if you have a question for me, for Ophiuchus the Thunder Lizard, or for Mahadeva the Ascended Master, you can leave a question for any one or all three of us in any of the video comment sections. Very well, my friends. Thanks for the questions. Take care of yourself. I will see you all very soon.